Now turn to Section 3. Section 3. You will hear a discussion between 3 students of business. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 26. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 26.
Did you have a chance to look at that case study yet?
Yes, I had a read over the data last night, and you?
I had a close look at it and I made some notes, actually.
John, you feeling okay? It's unlike you to be such a conscientious student.
Ha ha, very funny. I think it's an interesting project, and I'm not going to pretend I don't enjoy researching something when I do.
Well then, John, in that case, let's start with you. What conclusions did you draw?
Well, it's obvious for a start that both the departments responsible for car sales and car repair are struggling.
Really? But surely the motorcycle department, which made, after all, the least profit, is faring worse than any other.
No, Lisa, you're not taking into account last year's figures. Both the car sales and the car repair departments have seen their profits halve, while motorcycle profits, on the other hand, have remained steady and may even have improved slightly. The fact that car sales generated around $1 million in profits is neither here nor there, if you ask me. That department performed the most poorly, relatively speaking.
Yes, but it still brought in a huge amount of profit, as did the car valeting department.
I completely agree with you on that last point. A profit of just under 1.5 million is not to be sniffed at. Valeting had a good year this time out, not to mention the fact that, due to widening margins, the profit figure I just mentioned represented an increase of 100% on the year before's.
Irrespective of what either of you say, though, the bottom line is that the car repair department was still the most profitable.
True, very true. That's just quite a sharp drop from 3 million to just over 1.5, wouldn't you say?
Of course, but let's look at why for a minute. I think it's something to do with the breakdown of costs. For example, take the motorcycle department. Look at how high its fixed costs are, almost 75%. That's a formula for a steady, predictable and manageable business model with stable income and profits. On the other hand, car repair had huge variable costs and relatively low fixed costs, accounting for only about 25% of its total costs incurred.
And that's a recipe for unpredictability, which explains the dramatic fall in profits. The car repair department has got to reduce its variable costs and increase its fixed costs if it's to start posting consistent returns.
I see what you're saying there, and I completely agree. But what about the car sales department? What explains the fall in profits it experienced?
Look at the marketing expenditure. It spent most of its marketing budget in the last quarter. That means the effects of the marketing push might not be felt until the next year. So maybe the figures are a little misleading. And perhaps that's why car valeting did so well. Its marketing department spent most of its budget in the first 2 quarters, so sales and profits were noticeably up for the rest of the year. The question is, will car valeting continue to perform so well into the new year?
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 27 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 27 to 30.
I think there are several factors to consider when trying to answer the question. 1. Can it keep its variable cost low? 2. Is the economic recovery going to continue? And 3. Is the cost of equipment maintenance going to rise?
In answer to your first question, yes, I believe that is one of the key strengths of the car valeting department. Variable costs are low and fixed costs are predictable in this market, and that is not going to change. Furthermore, the margin is high, which makes valeting a very profitable activity.
As for whether the economic recovery will continue, though, that's an important question to ask. I mean, people don't valet their cars as often when times are tough, so this is one of the department's greatest weaknesses. It's hard hit every time the economy goes through a rough patch.
I agree with you, and I also think there is going to be an issue with equipment maintenance and replacement. Remember, this side of the business is only 2 years old, and most of the machinery and equipment was purchased new. That means there were unlikely to be large repair and maintenance bills for the first while, but as the machinery gets older, these costs are only going to increase. I think car valeting will struggle to be as profitable next year for that reason.
Another question to ask is what to do with the profits. Should the company reward its shareholders or reinvest?
I think the profits should be ploughed back into the company to help it continue to grow. I would invest in the motorcycle department, as the company hasn't established itself in this market yet.
Agreed.
Yes, but it shouldn't put all its eggs in one basket.
So where else do you suggest the investment should go?
I would expand the car valeting business. The margins are so high that there is the potential to generate huge profits there. It's a no-brainer for me.
I can see your point. The car sales and car repair don't need as much support, as they are already well established. I'll say this, though. The company had better give its shareholders a return on their investment next year, though. Otherwise, they will start to question the wisdom of purchasing shares. After all, what's the point in investing in a profitable business if you don't enjoy the fruits of your investment?
That's the end of section 3. You have half a minute to check your answers.